Not as bright and early as normal on a Monday. It's about 7:30 here on the West Coast in good old California. I try and normally do this at around 7 o'clock, but a little bit late start today, but that's all right. We'll just throw some darts and talk. Topics to talk about. Let's see. We do have the state of the world. If anybody's curious about my thoughts on that, I'll happily share. I don't think it'll be any surprise how that all plays out. We talk darts. I haven't watched a whole lot of what's going on in the PDC lately. I just really don't like the format. I don't like how they've got it going. As I almost dropped coffee on myself. So we can talk about it. We can talk about coming back to darts, what that's going to look like. That would be something to definitely talk about. I think we're going to get back to all of that. I know F1 has picked a date to come back and some other sports. I haven't seen anything specific. We can talk about the BDO or the lack of. Those are all things we can talk about for sure. We can talk about darts. We can talk about different styles of darts. I might change out my flights and shafts to the Tarot by Q-Soul, because I know there were some people that had asked to see what those look like in play, and Dylan and I did darts with Dylan this weekend, and for some reason, still haven't gotten an answer from YouTube. They said it was inappropriate content. It was my son and I playing darts. There was nothing inappropriate with the content whatsoever. It was no different than any other darts with Dylan. I think we played 5 games and hung out and talked a little bit about darts. He talked about some of his favorite darts players. That was really it. We were using the Tarot flights, and he was kind of telling you what he thought of them. I told you what I thought of them. That was pretty much all that was, and they said it was inappropriate content. So I'm trying to figure that out. Hopefully this won't be considered inappropriate content because I'm throwing darts. Who knows? But let's throw a little. Wow. Loose stuff. Whew. Warm up, wake up. Warm up and wake up. I literally just rolled out of bed, to be very honest. It's pretty good. It's good coffee. Sometimes you need that, you know? Actually, I took Friday, Saturday, and Sunday off of coffee. I do that occasionally just to make sure I'm not overly addicted to it. But I think I am overly addicted to it because, man, that tastes so good. There we go. 140, I'll take it. So I have a question. I'm thinking about doing this. So these are my soft tip barrels. So it's a 20 gram. And the soft tip tips, you know, Sessile will happily accept that. I ordered a set of the conversion points in the same. I use Condor tips, and Condor has a conversion. So I'm thinking about trying those out. I really like this barrel over all the other barrels I have that are steel tip. I am trying to change my grip up where I'm more fingers only instead of laying as much of my finger on there. So just fingertips, not fingers only, but fingertips versus laying my finger on the dart. What I've noticed, and I used to play that way, where it was more fingertips versus, and I got into this habit of doing that. And what I noticed is with all the grip on darts, is it was gripping to my finger and pulling to the right. Like I did a bunch of slow-mo shots, sent some photos to a guy. There's actually, see if I can put a link in this video, but there's a place where you can take some photos of yourself, videos of yourself, and you can send it to them, and for a few bucks they'll analyze your throw. It's pretty cool. But I figured out that that's what my biggest problem is, so I'm trying to get back to this. But with this dart, this particular barrel, which is by Shot Darts, I don't have that problem. Anyway, all that to be said just to get to that. Oh, and something cool. A couple just housekeeping things. Coffee Darts is going to be on Monday and Wednesdays from now on. Work is getting much busier. We're opening up doors as far as how Southern California is going. So work's getting a little bit busier for us, and we expect to actually be in full bloom sometime, hopefully this month. This is guessing. fingertips for my normal work stuff, and then I'm still doing a bunch of paperwork stuff for my dad. So we're going to do Monday and Wednesdays, and then we'll be doing darts with Dylan on weekends as long as YouTube's okay with that. So that's some housekeeping stuff. Ooh. Oh, and the other really cool housekeeping piece is bad throat. We've kind of got a sponsor for Coffee and Darts, and that is actually Shot Darts. Talked with them last week, and I think they're going to come on board and actually sponsor Coffee and Darts, and I'll give them a little cool little logo somewhere on the screen, and we'll do a little bumper intro for them. But I believe they're going to go ahead and sponsor this show 2 days a week, so that's really cool. We're excited about that. It's a company that I personally really love. Jacob, Dylan. I'm talking about my oldest son. Man, I really need some coffee. My oldest son, Jacob, he could care less about darts. Dylan loves darts, and he loves Shot. He really loves, we've talked about the things, and being 6 years old, I guess it's because I love them so much, he loves them. But it's just a really good company. And they announced yesterday a new player, and I don't know who it was. I saw the announcement, but I don't remember who it was. See, I'm just throwing better with these darts. I really am. Yeah, I don't remember who it is. I'm going to do a post on Facebook today because they posted last night, like my nighttime. So I'll do a post today out on social media congratulating. But it's cool. I love when they pick up players. It's not a big name guy like in the PDC, but it's a pro player. And welcome to the team there, because I'm not on the team because I'm anyway. Ooh. That's supposed to be a bullseye. Ugh. So was that. There we go. Getting closer. Warming up. Waking up. How's everybody doing? Hopefully your weekend was good. Hopefully everything was well. So curious what your thoughts are about the PDC coming back. When will they come back? And how will the rest of this year look leading up to the World Championships? And will there be a World Championships like we know it, as far as the amount of people that come and watch the World Championships? And will we see the Taylor Cup? Ah, I knew I was going to do that. So I'm not sure when we're going to come back. If there's a particular tournament and how they're going to... I mean, it was a really bad timing for this all to come out. I mean, our season had really just started when it comes to darts. So it's going to be interesting. And let me know in the chats and comments if you're in a league. Have they come back? Are you doing something for league? Are you doing virtual? Are you guys waiting just till you can get back to wherever it is you play? We are in the process of waiting till things open back up, but we're starting to, so I'm curious how league's going to start for us. Probably just be a summer league start. Oh, that was horrible. Blech. I had another question I wanted to throw out there. Yeah, okay, so here's a question that I kind of asked myself the other day. I was watching some old matches coming up. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Throw that out there. But I was watching some old matches, and I'm pulling some pieces to post some cool videos of, like, I got a compilation of Gerwin Price and Peter Wright and some of the greats and some of the newer darts players. Just kind of some of the fun things that have happened with them, or some of the interesting events that have happened in their darting careers to compile and start posting. I just thought it'd be kind of an interesting thing to put up on YouTube. I know there's others that have done similar things. Mine's gonna be a little different, but anyway, it got me thinking, watching a lot of this. So if I'm throwing at the 20, which, wow, man. If I'm throwing at the 20 and I block it, and we see this all the time. We see guys drop to the 19. So I'm throwing at the 60 and I drop to the 57. We'll just get the numbers straight. I've always wondered why, because the difference between the 57 and the 54 isn't much. Why don't, because you're already throwing up there, your arm motion's already there, why not switch over to the 18? I've seen a few players do that occasionally, but I always wondered why that wasn't more the norm as a motorcycle goes by, then dropping down to the 57. What's the real driving force behind that? It's only a couple of points, which can matter. I understand that, but just curious. Thank you, Harrison. I'm big fans of all my subscribers. Wish I could meet all my subscribers and those that watch us. Would love to, and those that will like Dylan. He always asks me, like, can we have people over? I'm like, oh, I don't know where everybody lives. But thanks for watching. Really appreciate it. So that's a question, out there. Why does everybody drop down? I mean, I understand to some degree, but why not just stay at that level? You're on that upper half of the board. Why not keep that throwing motion up there instead of dropping down? Just curious. Curious what your thoughts are. Oh, I need to throw more. Shut up. Get my game on. Oh. Kind of like using the soft tip into the sessile board. I mean, I haven't had any fall out since I started doing this yesterday. I don't know. Kind of like this idea. I can just go from one board to the other. Works pretty well. Oh, here on Coffee and Darts, we need to talk some about coffee too. Yeah, we gotta start doing that. I start bringing out some brands of coffee that I drink and other coffee items that I enjoy, and you guys can certainly share yours. Well, verbally, because pictures. Maybe we'll do that. Let's do a Zoom call. No, those are horrible. So I do gotta ask another question. As the world's opening back up, outside of America being on fire and imploding, the rest of the world, are you guys working from home more, or are you guys back at it? I guess it depends on your profession. I know if you go to darts referee Jack over there, from what I gather, he's a tree trimmer. He works up in the trees, and can't really do that from home. So just curious, who's working from home, who's out and about. It seems like the world's kind of getting its feet under itself and getting back to things. Hopefully that's true. Oh, in the ones today. on, Matt. That's gotta be arm movement. Oh. So it was a good weekend for us. We got a lot done. I had work to do during part of the weekend. Didn't get as much darting in as hopefully. I just can't wait for darts to be back. Oh. I really can't wait to be able to sit down with Dylan and do this format while we have darts on in the background. That was something we were really looking forward to on weekends with darts with Dylan. And then typically on Mondays we'd be talking about the tournament. That's what this was all about. This was going to be kind of that vlog-ish type thing. It was kind of that podcast / play darts and do that. That was the idea behind all this. And it morphed into this because darts has disappeared. I'd like to see it come back. I can't wait for some good tournament stuff to come back. I'm just wondering how it's going to look with this whole COVID situation. But I know more is opening up around us, and they're kind of figuring out how to make it function and work. I went to a couple stores this weekend, and they seem to be getting it together. There's more lines outside. There was a time frame there that it was just like free for all. They didn't count. They didn't care how many people were in the store. They went 1 week where it was all really regimented, and then it kind of free for all, and they're getting back to a somewhat of a regiment that makes sense a little bit more. I mean, there were times where people were like standing outside for 45 minutes waiting to go into a store. It's a little crazy. And of course, Jeff Bezos is now a trillionaire. Wonder if he caused the pandemic. Gotta ask that, huh? No, I'm joking. I don't want to get into crazy talk like that. We're here about darts. And talking darts. So, do you think that this off time is giving the PDC enough time to talk about the ladies and getting the ladies involved in the PDC? I would hope that they spend some time doing that. Now, if you've watched Darts Referee and Jack over there, who was a PDC referee for a while, and I am jealous. His channel has blown up, and that's part of it, I'm sure, is just because of his connection with a lot of the darts players. So I am a little jealous. But I just, after hearing how he says things run in the PDC, I question, have they done anything during this off period where they could have really extended themselves out? But I'd like to see, when we come back, the ladies having more of a play in the tournaments, or kind of like what the BDO did, is, you know, you had the ladies playing at the same time as the guys. I'd like to see them kind of get that mesh together. I think it would be interesting, but I think the PDC wants the ladies playing the guys. I don't know how it'd work. I'm just curious what your thoughts are on that. I would like to see that more. I'd like to see the ladies involved, making our sport really encompassing of everybody, which it does. It's the coolest thing about darts. I mean, anybody with a set of $5 brass barrels can beat somebody with a $100 set of tungstens any day of the week if they're throwing well. So just because you have more money in a set of barrels doesn't make you a better darts player. I think this is a sport that equalizes everything. If you're good at throwing darts, you're good at throwing darts. If you're good at the math, you're good at the math. And these are things you can learn, and some people are just going to be better at it. And I don't think it matters the equipment as much as you are the equipment that matters the most. And I think that's a pretty cool equalizer in our sport. So I'm hoping that the PDC will figure out how to encompass and bring the openness of our sport into what they've got going on. And it is a higher level than anything else anybody does. I'll admit that. It is the top tier players in the world. And they do allow openings for anybody to come in based on their tournament, how they schedule out the tournaments and how they allow you to play and get entrance in, which I really like that aspect of it. I'd like to see them set up something for ladies a little more specific. And I think it's almost taking on the format that BDO did, where the ladies have their own tournament within the tournament, but also give them opportunity within major tournaments and some other tournaments to play the guys. I think as we talk about like the worlds, where we have the country teams. Why am I blanking on that tournament? As that was supposed to be happening here. I think they should integrate that with the top 2 players from that country and the top lady from that country. I think that would be cool. Expand that play out. Probably expand that tournament a day or 2 because of that. I think it'd be really interesting to see that. Matt just dropped my arm. I think that'd be a really cool format, is to add the ladies into that tournament. That'd be kind of cool. We'll see what happens, right? When everything opens back up. Man, I'm not paying attention to my grip. What was the first thing that came natural to you when you started playing? Was it the stance, or did you fidget with your stance a lot, or did you just do a stance and then come back to that later and mess with it? Was it your grip, your throwing motion? What came really natural to you in your beginnings of darts and your first, as you started to set up? I've never really worked on my throwing. Motion, that's just, it is what it's always been. I did work a little as to where I was placing the dart, whether, because I watched a bunch of people how they threw. The thing I fidgeted with the most has been my stance over anything else. I used to hold the dart up here. I tried that one. I tried this push. Tried all the different things, and this is kind of become what I do just naturally. And naturally I suck right now, but hey, it's getting better. I'm starting to get back to an old form where I could throw halfway decent. I think I took part of the Menser, like he does this, and I kind of do where I'm looking at it, holding it, and then excuse me, you know, I'm bringing it back to my eye, kind of. No, I don't think I do really anymore. I come here, I used to do that. But I'm fascinated with the throw itself lately. And finger placement on the barrels. Using the flight as part, you know, just the touch points on a barrel are really fascinating to me. I've thought about getting a small metal lathe. I have a friend who has one that would let me borrow one, and making a set myself, just playing with that. That has been something on my mind, to try and see if I can get some blanks and make some barrels myself. I'm just really fascinated with the dart and just the whole process lately. I have some friends that are decent darts players. That wasn't bad. And I'll ask them about it. They just grab darts and throw. You know, they don't think about any of it. And they're decent, but they don't have any aspirations to be anything in the sport or talk about the sport or anything like that. For them, it's not a sport. It's just, I hang out with the friends, I play darts a little. They're not very good at the math aspect of it. But today's the first. I'm supposed to be working on my ones anyway. I'm supposed to work on my double ones. I always kind of forget the first, so it rolls back around. So I have a practice routine where I like to throw at the doubles for the first 20 days. Part of my practice routine, and then I'll spend the 21st and 22nd day throwing at the bullseye, the outer bullseye, inner bullseye. I also throw at triples during that. So like today's the first, I would spend most of my time at the doubles on the 1, 2s, yeah. But when you get into, say, the higher end numbers where you might use a triple occasionally, I will start throwing into the triples there. So let's do that. Let's work on my ones. So you're going to see me throwing at the ones. I mean to do this. This is me meaning to do this, finally. The only problem with going live is you can't hide any of this stuff. Like, if I was recording, I could take those out and re-throw, cut them out of the picture. You can't when you're live. That's the only problem. A little more reality there, huh? Mm. I floated. Horrible release. Ah. I think I might be one of those darts players that's better as a coach and an inspirational type person than as a darts player. I should film myself more. I used to do that a lot. I had a couple camera, like little GoPro type cameras. They were the cheapy ones that I would set up and film myself and then go back and watch it. I learned that I learned that shooting archery. I used to go to an indoor range here, and I had a coach, and she would film me from a bunch of different angles, and we would review. And I should do that with darts. There's no real difference in doing any of that. Baseball players do it, but I think I think our sport is the next sport to get that coach aspect to it. Volleyball has it. Pretty much every other sport has coaching as part of it, and I can see our sport getting that in the next probably 2 to 5 years, where you'll see coaches becoming more of a thing. Monies might need to be there a little bit more. But I could see that happening. And speaking of coaching and darts players, I look at players like Corey Cadby, and if he had had a coach along with him, would he have imploded? It's a question, right? Would Voltage, would Rob Cross, I still think he needs to pick a song by Criss Cross for his walk-in, but that's me personally. But would Voltage have had such a bad year coming off being world champion? Not that it was horrible, but it wasn't what you would expect someone coming off world championship, winning the world championship and beating Phil Taylor in the way that he did. If he had had a coach, not a manager, but a coach. You have your manager deals with all the BS outside, but if you actually had a coach, someone that could work on your throw, and I guess in our sport, you could have a coach / manager. Is a guess. I've never managed it, so I don't know. But I'm wondering if coaching will become a part of what we do. Right now, I could use a coach because I can't hit anything. But I could see doing that with someone. I think that'd be fun, is to help coach someone on their darting career if they're in that that top tier. Oh, and if you're over in Europe and you're watching this or catching the replay, let me know. Maybe that is a thing and I just don't know it. I know that there's a kind of a school. I've sent my tapes to them. It's been a little while since I've sent them a full thing of me. I'm trying to remember the name of it. Sorry, I was trying to remember the name of the place. But it's like a school that'll help you with your throw for darts. So maybe it is something more in Europe, and I'm just not familiar with it, but I think that would be cool. Oh, Matt. Not a good session for me today. So what I hear all of you saying is that I should create this idea. I should bring coaching to darts. I hear you. That's what I'm hearing. I like it. So I could be the first professional darts coach. I'm down. I like the idea. Who's going to take someone who throws a 4 when that's not what they're aiming at, though? I guess you don't have to be the best player to be able to talk about the sport. Not that I want to pick on Mr. Martle, Wayne there, because he has, he's got some tournament wins, and he's a good darts player, but I could see him trying to be a coach or just a mouth within the sport. Oh wait, he does that already. I think he found his place a little bit more outside of playing, but he got the experience in playing, and that allows him to do what he does now, and I like Wayne. I like that he's kind of a character. The sport needs a character. As we come back out of this, how is everybody going to play out their role within the PDC? I mean, everybody has their personality and their little bit of characters, and I think this last, 4 or 5 months has really changed some people. The little bit I've watched of the PDC home tour thing, you can kind of tell. You're seeing people a little bit more at home, and a little bit of the personality changes. And I'm curious how things are going to come out. Are we going to see the hatred for Gerwin? Oh, jeez, Matt. I'm hitting the one, but not the one I want. Or are we going to see a different, reserved Gerwin that's going to come out and dominate? Will Snakebite come out and produce the World Championship year we expected out of him? Will someone out of the blue, like will Chizzy, all of a sudden have this blow up year because he's had the time to hone his 180 crushing style? I'm really curious to see how. I'm like, I need darts back. That's kind of where it is. I need darts back. I'm really missing my sports on TV. I don't think the world grasped how much connectivity we all had through our sport, whether it was baseball or golf or darts or auto racing, Formula One, just all these different pieces of things that people like. Volleyball, which is a sport I love as well, but all these, snooker, just all these different things that people came together on, and we've not been able to. I'm curious to see how much that, I don't know, I like people and I like watching people and seeing how things interact and work. So, and if you're this far into the stream watching, have you been able to connect and stay positive with friends through darts? Trying to work those ones today. Today is the 1st. Happy June 1st. So throwing a few questions out there today. Coaching, darts coaching. Do we see that in the future? Like full-time coaches for darts players? I think that's a role I could do because playing darts, apparently not that, I mean, I know what I'm doing wrong when I throw a dart wrong. I can feel it, sense it. Anyway, I think darts coaching would be interesting. Another thing we've kind of chatted about today, the ladies in the PDC. This is a topic that I would like to keep pushing because I think we need to have the conversations so that it happens more. But I think the PDC needs to take on a little bit of the BDO model when it comes to the ladies, but then tweak it and have more open tournaments where the ladies can join us. And again, I think the ladies should be part of the, why can't I think of that tournament? The tournament where the countries play each other, and I can't think of that. I can picture everybody. Scotland won last year, and I'm picturing all this, and I can't. Anyway, can't remember the name of that particular tournament. Should be happening right about now. Hit a one. Ugh. So those are a couple of topics from today. Yes, please recommend me a book. Yeah, I'd love recommendations on a book. I have quite a few books, and I listen to books as I drive places. I'm actually listening to one right now. It's called The One. It's about focusing on the one thing that you need to. And as you, instead of a million things, what's the one thing? And everything you're doing, the one thing you're doing is driving to the one thing. That's an interesting concept. And I think as professional athletes that are out there, that's definitely got to be, you got to be one focused for sure. I just finished a book by Ben Crenshaw. He's a congressman, and I like a lot of what he talked about, but one of the things that chapters that he pushed on was having no plan B. He was a Navy SEAL, and the reality is when you go out into that world, there is no plan B. There's plan A. And you can tweak plan A, but there's no plan B, because once you have a plan B, plan A goes away. You've already set up another plan. And I like that methodology. You know, when it comes to darts or work or anything else, you've got plan A. If you've already created plan B, you've already created the way out. You've already given yourself the, oh, well, plan A doesn't work, I'm doing a plan B. I like that methodology. Hey AI, how's it going? Hopefully you had a good weekend, and depending on where you are in the world, it might actually be Tuesday for you, or close to Tuesday. Hopefully everybody is having a good day wherever you are. So a couple topics we've been talking about today for those that are joining. Talked a little bit about coaching, like bringing professional coaching into darts. What would that look like, and do we think that's going to happen, where players have individual professional coaches, not managers, but coaches, to help coach their game. We've talked a little bit about the ladies in the PDC and how that could work. Today is the first, so I'm throwing at the one. It's part of my practice routine. Siberia, wow. Serbia, I can read. It's small down there, sorry. 4:10 p.m. on a Monday for AI. It is 8:10 here in 8:10 a.m. in America, and it is 11:10 in the Philippines. Oh, I have that number on my watch, and then it's 11:10 in a.m. in Atlanta. So there we go. I have no idea why I did that. So it's Monday for people. Hopefully weekends were good. Of course, there was no darts saddens, as my son would go, sad, sad. It's his thing lately. How are things in Serbia? What's the weather like in Serbia this time of year? Dropped my elbow. So, Newcastle, UK. How are things over in the UK? I mean, our news is filled with what's going on here, so, and I'm sure everybody else in the world knows the craziness that we're dealing with. But just curious, you know, I mean, the rest of the world's got to move on. They can't worry about what we're doing, and they shouldn't. So just curious how everybody else is doing. Is life getting back to a norm of some sort? Are the bars open for darts? That's really what we want to know. So I've got beginning of a hot summer. Sorry. We're starting to get into our summertime as well. And it's supposed to be warmer than normal. So, question or throwing this out for everybody. So I started this idea of Darts on the Go, filmed the first episode, which I don't know if anybody's seen that, is on the YouTube channel. Started filming the second episode, ran into some walls because of the COVID thing, and I'm currently talking with a couple of the local bars as to when they're going to open back up and allow darts, trying to come in and just film that, and I'm thinking I'll turn Darts on the Go into, I'll just go visit bars, hopefully all over our nation and maybe others. If it blows up into something, maybe in a couple of years we can go to the UK and other places and spend a few weeks hitting up some of the pubs and bars where darts are played and bringing a camera along and just having fun. We've got a couple local ones here that I've talked to, and they're open to it as things open a little bit more up. We are open where people are going to restaurants and going to bars, kind of. So I've had a couple that like the idea of it, so we'll see what happens. But I think that's where that's going to go instead of playing in the public. I got a couple places said no when I tried to show up and do it, and then I've talked with a couple of city council members that I know, and they're like, you're throwing projectiles at a board. If it hit someone or if someone else took one and threw something, I would be held liable. And so I couldn't even get a permit to do that. I would need a permit to do such a thing, and I was told not even to ask at this point in time. So there's an update on Darts on the Go. Not that any of you asked. Oh, close. Nice. Oh, schools went back today. That's cool. Our schools are actually, like my son Dylan, who you've seen out here, he has his little graduation video thing today. I don't know why do they do graduation for kindergarten? I don't understand that. But they're doing some little parties via Zoom today, and he's pretty much out of school this week. So we're all getting out of school and waiting to see what the next school year looks like, which is in a few months. But we've got some restaurants open, and a couple of the restaurants have areas where they have dartboards. So we've got a place called Hennessy's, which is more of an Irish bar. It's probably not what would actually be in Ireland, but it's called Hennessy's. It's a pretty cool place. They bring in some really nice bands, and they've got a nice room set up with a couple dartboards. We have a place, Churchill's, which is a pub, and oh man, when proper soccer is played, proper football, or more or less soccer is played, that place is packed out. It's pretty fun. I have some friends that are from the UK and from Ireland, and they're like, Churchill's is the place to go. But they've got 4 dartboards, and so they're kind of doing their meal service. Not everything's fully open, but I've talked with them and I'm hoping to get in there. And we have a place called the Cow Shed, which is kind of the same thing. So those are 3 places I've been chatting with that are kind of getting there where they're going to have darts. And then the place I play League, as soon as that is available, we'll be in there. I'm all ears. Not completely, but I have ears. Is it Mahi Marketing? Sorry if I'm butchering that. But I'm always open for ideas. Love to hear it. Love to hear about the book too that you said you were going to recommend. Totally open to that. Oh, so I am throwing at 1s today. Again, it is the first. So, what time is it? Okay. Got a few more minutes. Oh, got some of my morning meetings to start. Oh. It's a bad throw. Yes, that's a great book by Dale. I have never read the whole thing. I've done conferences where they talk about that or someone talks a lot about that particular book. I have some of his other books, but that's probably one I should do. You're right. My phone is ringing. Who's calling? Can't see. I'll deal with it in a minute. I'm totally open to the social media marketing bit. I wonder if I can drop a comment in here. It's not letting me chat on there. If you go to my Facebook page, Atomic Darts, you can DM me. I'll get you my contact information. Or just go to atomicdarts@gmail.com. We could always certainly talk about media marketing. I'm open to talking to people about it. And then that's a great book. I probably should listen to it or read it. I'll probably listen to it. But again, I've done some conferences where people talk about it, and I understand the concept to a degree, but probably time to refresh with that book. I try and do a book or two a month, listening to it while I drive. It just depends on how much I'm driving. I used to drive a ton, and I would get through 3-4 books easy a month. And I always liked that. So, excuse me. I don't even know where I'm going with that. Let's just go back up there. Yay! That was interesting. What time is it? Oh, it's 8:20. Hey guys, I got about 2 more minutes or so. I got to get to a meeting here that's at 8:30, and I can't wear this shirt. I just thought I would wear this one this morning. It's a little warm this morning. Oh man, I feel like my throat's getting back. It feels better. There was a month there where everything I did just fell out of whack. I think it was more mental. But it's feeling better. I've changed up my grip a little. And hopefully by the time Lee gets back, I can get back to a reasonable average. I'm not the best darts player. You guys can tell. Oh. But under pressure, I've always been good when it's in sports, being under pressure or needing that W, that win. I'll say I'm pretty good at that. What time is it? Oh, it's 8:21. Hey guys, I'm going to go ahead and call it a day. I know there's 3 of you watching. Hey, thank you very much for hanging out with me today. I do have a meeting here in a few minutes. I got to get you. Hopefully you have a great week. We will be back with Coffee and Darts on Wednesdays. So our new schedule is Monday and Wednesdays. And then Darts with Dylan on weekends. And then, of course, we're putting out reviews. And we've got a couple new reviews coming out this week that are in edit right now. Just dropped the Mikado barrel by Shot Darts. Was that yesterday that dropped? Check that out. It's a good review, I think. And check out Shot Darts. They're actually coming on as a sponsor for Coffee and Darts. Give them check them out. Give them a shout out. But Shot Darts, great manufacturer of barrels and just a lover of the sport and been doing this since the 70s. Been around and hanging out, and they're adding players to their lineup, which is really cool. So thank you guys. Stay safe, and I will see you guys on Wednesday. Everybody have a great day. Thanks again for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't. But